Hi, welcome into Running Miles CHD with your coach Josh. Today we're going to talk about picking a schedule. We're also going to discuss how some of my long runs went. Just wanted to thank you for tuning in and listening to this, and hopefully it can help you in the future. Also, if you would like a coach, please reach out. And you can email me at runningmileschd@gmail.com and be happy to see if we're a great fit and be happy to help you on your running journey. Once again, you don't have to be running 100 miles. Any distance, I'd be happy to help you with. With all that being said, let's get started. Last week, I went on the long run, which was 12 miles, which is not that much, I guess. It takes me about 2.5 hours to run. With that run, I didn't take Tailwind with me. I just felt like maybe I didn't need that many carbs running just a short distance. But I did notice some differences between my last run and the run before. Apparently, I was in zone 3 for the whole time this week with my long run, and my heartbeat was consistently at 167, which the first week of training I was equally between zones 3 and 4, and my heart rate got up to 177. If you listen to the podcast the week before, I did the 250 carb load before I ran. So I think there was a difference. This week it was more of whole foods and the 80 carbohydrates usually within the day. So I can definitely see a difference. So I'm thinking next week I'm gonna try to eat some brown rice before my long run next week, and see how that goes. I'm trying not to do added sugar. I usually don't eat added sugar, which is I guess tough for me to drink the Tailwind, but if I want the carbohydrates, it's going to be really tough not to drink them, because even last week, just eating the food definitely takes like a minute or two off of your time. You kind of want to have a good time as well, but sometimes you have to start walking and eating, right? So I can definitely see why the gels are so popular, because you can just squirt it and keep running. But also, there's all kinds of strategies which we can talk about later, but which I saw when people were doing long runs and then ultras, and then in my coaching practice, you can have some kind of schedule when you're running. whether you run 4 miles and then you walk 1 mile. Do you run 4 miles, you walk 1 mile? Or you run 10 minutes, you walk a minute, then you run 10 minutes, then you walk 10 minutes. There's quite a bit of people actually doing that kind of thing. And you can get like beepers on your watch to alert you when it's time to start walking or something. Most of the races that I've done, I just kind of tried to keep running. I've never really walked, but I was thinking that with this 100 that something I might be interested in, especially since I'm eating the whole food and I have to walk a little bit anyways, to eat that food. So that's something that I might consider. Run 4 miles and then walk 1 mile. It's going to be a very, very long race, like 30 hours long. So that's something definitely to consider in an ultra, because you want to fuel your body and fuel your gut. Anyways, and so yeah, I felt all right, and the paces were the same. So 12-minute mile from this week, from last week, they were both 12-minute miles. Just the zones were different, and the heart rate was different. With the pre-carb loaded day versus the just the 80 carbs. And then once again during the run, I did do the protein shake before I started the run, and then the nuts, and then the raisins. So 1/4 cup raisins and 1/4 cup of the pistachios, which gets you to the 30 carbs per hour is what I was doing. But when I add the tailwind, that will get me to 60. It's just so much to carry when you're racking up those mileages, especially when you don't have aid stations to help you out. You just have to find a gas station that's 24/7 or run to some parks with water fountains. So, and if you're running during the winter and they cut off the water fountains, then you probably want to run to where some 24-hour gas stations are. You can always just put some water out before you start your long run, or just run in loops, I guess, from wherever you live, and then you could just go into your house and get some water. But or you just carry it all with you. Just be really heavy once you get up to the bigger miles, I would say. So today we're going to be talking about picking a schedule. It's really hard. I don't know who's listening to this, right? Everybody's unique with what they need in their schedule, whether it's work, family life, and how much time you can dedicate. So something you would want to talk to your coach about, or if you don't have a coach, then you just want to think about for a little bit. How much time can you dedicate? How many days a week are you going to train? And how much time do you think you have? Obviously, the running is just a little part of it, right? Or a lot of part of it, but before you go running, you're going to need to stretch, or you could stretch. And then after the run, you need time to relax and stretch again. So you want to factor that into the time when you're looking it out. For me, I just believe that working out should be like brushing your teeth. So for me, I just have a minimum that I do every day, which is 30 minutes of working out. And it's that consistency that's helped me out. So right now I am working out 7 days a week in the beginning, but I do have some rest days in the future when I start really upping the mileage, just to try to keep me healthy. But right now, I mean, I'm only running 2 days a week, which is not much. There's a lot of people that can run 4 days a week or 5 days a week. So I would say, yeah. I mean, even though I'm not running, I'm still lifting weights and still doing activities with my training. Whether you're doing cross training or you really like running, and I guess you could do 3 days a week or 4 days a week, or 5 days a week. For me, I guess I get kind of bored of running, so I have to do cross training to keep, I guess, the schedule alive, so it can keep going. Also injury prone, so doing less is doing more. And the reason I picked the schedule that I picked is I'd rather be 80% or 90%, at the starting line than 40% at the starting line of the race. So my thinking was, I could do less, but then maybe I'm healthier at the start of the race, versus if I did more training, then maybe I would be more injured, and then I wouldn't be as healthy as I would at the start. So kind of like I went to lower mileage. And once again, when you're setting up the schedule, if we're looking to do a half marathon or a marathon, right, your longest week usually is 18 miles, 20 miles, 22 miles. There is instance that people do 26 miles before they run a marathon, before they taper. But it's a little different when you're doing an ultra. I think more because time, you don't have much time to train like that, and also you don't want to get injured, right? So you don't want to you're not going to be running 90 miles for your longest long run for 100 miles. I mean, normally people don't do that, at least what I've been taught and what I've been reading about. So most of the time, it depends on the individual with their injury prone, and then their own schedule, whatever's doable that you can do with life, right? So, my longest long run in my schedule is 35 miles, which is not that much at one time. I do have some back-to-backs, which would reach 50 miles. But I would say, my longest is 35. And I mean, I think it's definitely on the shorter end of these 100 milers, most of the ones that I've read about seem to do them at 40 or even 50 at one time can be your longest long run. So it is definitely on the shorter end of the schedule. So, and I don't know how that's going to play out, right? Because this is in current time until we get to week 22 after the race, then we'll know if it was long enough for sure. Okay, so I'm just letting you know what I was thinking and how my brain works. So let's go over the schedule now. So you need to be aware of how much time you have, what you can dedicate to the schedule, and how you're going to do the schedule. I would say that you might want to add in some leg days for your training, some leg workouts with weights. I also do upper body weights. For me, I also do steps and then treadmill, and I do ab workout. So there's a lot that I do, but everybody would be individualized, and we would just have a chat and come up with something that's doable for you. Also, you want to put in an overnight run. So I would say be up all day, right? And then run all night. So it just gives you practice for your ultra that would come up, because it's most of the time averaging 28 hours on people that do 100 milers. So you'll be running all night. So it's just good practice to get in an all-nighter. So you want to put that on your schedule. So put an all-nighter on there. For me, it would be an all-nighter because it takes me 35 miles. Will probably take me 8 hours to accomplish. So if not 9 hours, but I would think 8 hours. So that would be my long run at night. And then after that, it kind of goes to 2-a-days. So that means back-to-backs. And you want to have some of those in there. I would say at least 4 back-to-backs. Mine kind of go up in small increments. So I've planned to do 26 miles, then the next day 5 miles, then the next week 26 miles, and then the next week 15, and then marathon again, and then 20 miles, and then 26, so a marathon back to back, and then I start tapering from there. But you can understand how the schedules work in there. it is going to be tough those weeks for sure. So, but it's kind of like a science in a way, you know, you're just training your muscles, getting them ready. Okay. And you also want to run in the elements. So I'm not sure what race you've picked or what you're thinking, whether it's during the winter, the summer, right? Whether there's possibility of snow or there's a possibility of rain when you're going, right? So you just want to probably test your body and see how you do in the rain, see how you do in the snow, and do a practice. Now the best thing you could do, I think, with training is make it worse than race day, right? That way race day is a little bit easier than what you've done in your practice, because then you've got it down, right? It's going to be a breeze. So you know, make sure it's tough. So once again, you definitely want to incorporate a day where you know it's going to be raining or snowing, and do your long run on that one, because if that happens on race day, right, then it's going to be better, you know. Also, you could learn from it, right? If you run in the rain, then you know, okay, I wore these socks, they actually did okay. You know, you just be more prepared if it was raining during your race, if you do a practice in the rain. So I know that your feet could get hurt, and you could ruin your shoes by getting them wet, which sucks because shoes are pretty expensive. So if you're gonna do it, just plan it right. You know, maybe an almost worn out pair of shoes. Maybe use those for the raining session that you're doing. And then if you are running in the winter, maybe you're running in Canada or Upper Europe, and it snows a lot up there, you know, during the winter. Don't know, I've never ran those races or anything, but I could only imagine that some people probably run those races, so in the snow. So now I kind of want to talk about tapering, which means, you know, that just means some weeks you're just going to do less to just give your body a rest and kind of recover from your mileage, and it kind of just refreshes you. In my schedule, I've done tapering every 5 weeks, and I've been tapering just about 8 miles, 10 miles when I taper, which once again is a week that you just do less that you currently have worked up to. So for an example, 1 week my long run's going to be 28 miles, and then how my schedule's been going, then the next week it should be 30 miles. But actually, since I'm tapering, I've knocked that week down to 18 miles. So I'm tapering that week. And I have a couple of taperings in my schedule. So, but usually people definitely do some tapering before race week to get their legs a little bit fresher, so they can feel a little bit healthier. And yeah, just be fresh for the race. So yeah, I definitely gonna be tapering 2 weeks before the race. So my longest mileage week is going to be 4 weeks out, and then there's 2 weeks of tapering, lowering it down by 20 miles each week, and then ready to go race week. So looking at a schedule can't be complicated. And yes, there's lots of websites where you can download a pre-made schedule, which would help you get something going. But I definitely would encourage you all to sit down with a PDF on your computer and, make your own schedule and customize it to you and your lifestyle and your time and what you think you can accomplish. Right at the end of the day, you're not training like you would for a marathon, right? So whatever you train for is my thinking. You're still not going to be nearly as ready as you could be to run those extra miles, right? And I remember running some long races where you just feel like, how am I going to go on? And you're only on mile 20 and you got 60 more miles to go. Are you feeling really bad and you're on mile 10 and you have so many more to go, right? So it's just, I think it's a lot to do with the mind as well. So, it could be a little bit physical, right? That's why you train for it. But it also is the mindset. So, you just want to believe you can do it. And you want to just keep telling yourself you're going to finish. You can do it. And just positive affirmations. And don't be afraid to talk to yourself. And a you person. Maybe not in an I, but in a you. You got this. You're going to do it. You're doing great. And those things can help you for sure. It's definitely, a lot of it is mental. So whether you're low on mileage, hopefully it can make up in your mental toughness. And you can achieve it. So anyways, yeah, I would encourage you to make the schedule just for you. And if you need some help doing that, be happy to come up with a schedule for you. And yeah, hope this was helpful with your schedule. So I wanted to go back over one more time to let you the key points of a schedule. So you want to make sure that you have some cross training in it. You want to make sure that you taper in the schedule. You also want to make sure you have an all night in the schedule. You could do more than one if you want. It's always good to get more practice in. Also, you want to make sure that you have 2-a-days, so back-to-back runs on different days. You could do a morning run and an evening run if you want, but I would be more encouraged on doing back-to-back days. So that means running Saturday and then running Sunday to help you out. And then, run in the elements that you might be facing in race day. Whether that's in the cold, in the rain, in the snow, or a really hot, sunny day, right? Obviously, a race day could be far away in June or July. Over here in the United States. But if you're in Australia, I guess your summers are going to be in January, right? In February. But so don't worry about what I'm saying right now. Whenever it's hot, if you're doing a race in the heat, right, you want to train for that. So if you want to train like that, but it's far out, you could run in the afternoon when it's the hottest time of that month that you're racing. Hopefully it would be hot enough for you to mimic race day when you're running in the summertime, right? So yeah, definitely would encourage running in the elements. And then once again, race day is going to be, sometimes you feel like race day is going to be amazing and everything's going to go perfect. But sometimes that's not the case. I mean, there's plenty of times where things screw up. Oh my gosh. Yeah. But one time for me, I was in a marathon and my strap broke on my shorts, and I had to hold them up because they were too big, and the only way to keep them on was to tie them, and that tie broke at the beginning of the race. Another race that I ran, I left my music at one of the aid stations. And so I had to just be with my thoughts for pretty much the whole race because I left it at the first aid station. So, I mean, horrible things can happen to you on race day. I'm getting off pretty easy, I imagine. I'm sure some people have some pretty horror stories about race day. So if you try to make your running schedule hard, then you could be more prepared for something that happens on race day, which will help you reach the finish line a little bit better and help you with your mental toughness. You could do a long run without music or something, or you could do, or without an audio book or podcast. You could wet one of your socks and then have your other foot dry. And I mean, I guess he could make anything so tough, but just, I think we have sometimes this idea that race day is just going to be perfect, but sometimes it's not. Whether it's going to rain on that day or something's going to happen. Something's going to happen to your shoe, or you accidentally step in some water and now your shoe soaked. Whatever the case might be. But all I'm saying is sometimes you can make your schedule tough to make your race day a little bit easier, if that makes sense. Right? So if you make your schedule easy, then if something happens on race day, it's going to be hard to overcome. I appreciate you guys listening to me today. And if you have any questions or you want to reach out to schedule something, once again, the email is runningmouthchd@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to connect with you. Once again, my name is Josh, and I appreciate you listening. And what you're doing is hard, and good luck. And I hope this has helped you. I'm creating a schedule. And thanks for tuning in. And I'll get you on the next episode. Thank you.